Welcome to How Much Things. Today, we are talking about a question many people ask, but few truly understand. How much oil makes the Middle East rich? In this video, we will explain everything in very simple words. No complex terms. No confusing numbers, just clear understanding. By the end of this video, you will clearly know how much oil exists in the Middle East, which countries have the most oil, how oil creates money, how oil changed poor desert lands into rich nations, and why oil still controls global power today. So let's begin from the basics. Oil is a natural resource found deep underground. It took millions of years to form. Oil is used to make petrol, diesel, jet fuel, plastics, chemicals, fertilizers, medicines, clothes, electronics, and thousands of everyday products. Modern life runs on oil. Without oil, airplanes stop, cars stop, factories stop, shipping stops, power plants stop. That is why oil is not just fuel. Oil is power. The Middle East is one of the most oil-rich regions on Earth. Even though it covers a small part of the world, it holds a very large share of global oil. Some estimates say around 48% to 50% of the world's proven oil reserves are in the Middle East. That is nearly half of all known oil on Earth. This is the main reason why the Middle East plays such a big role in the global economy. Not all Middle Eastern countries are oil-rich, but some countries have massive reserves. The main oil-rich countries include Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, United Arab Emirates, Qatar together. These countries control a huge part of global oil supply. Let's understand them one by one. Saudi Arabia is the largest oil producer in the Middle East. It has around 260 billion barrels of proven oil reserves. That alone is about 17% of the world's total oil. Saudi Arabia can produce millions of barrels every single day. Because of this, Saudi Arabia can control oil supply, influence oil prices, earn hundreds of billions of dollars, fund mega projects, support free education and healthcare, invest globally. Oil turned Saudi Arabia from a desert-based economy into one of the most powerful energy nations in the world. Iran has around 160 billion barrels of oil reserves. That places Iran among the top oil-holding countries on Earth. Iran also has massive natural gas reserves. Oil income helps Iran fund government spending, support local industries, invest in infrastructure, influence regional politics, even with economic restrictions. Iran's oil remains a major source of wealth and power. Iraq has around 145 billion barrels of oil reserves. For many years, conflict slowed down Iraq's oil growth, but underground, the oil never disappeared. Oil is Iraq's biggest economic asset. If fully developed, Iraq's oil can generate massive wealth for decades. Kuwait is a very small country, but it has around 100 billion barrels of oil reserves. That means Kuwait has more oil than many large nations. Because of oil, Kuwait has one of the highest incomes per person. Citizens receive strong government support, fuel and utilities are very cheap. Public services are well-funded. Oil made Kuwait one of the richest countries per capita in the world. The UAE has around 98 billion barrels of oil reserves. But the UAE did something different. Instead of relying only on oil, it used oil money to build cities, airports, tourism, airlines, trade hubs, finance centers. Oil gave the UAE the starting capital. Smart planning turned it into a global business hub. Qatar has smaller oil reserves compared to others, but Qatar has huge natural gas reserves. Gas exports make Qatar extremely rich. Oil and gas together allowed Qatar to build massive wealth funds, support citizens with high incomes, invest globally, host world-class infrastructure. Qatar shows that energy wealth is not just about oil alone. Let's combine everything. The Middle East holds roughly 800 to 850 billion barrels of proven oil reserves. That is almost half of all known oil on Earth. To put this in simple words, if the world's oil was a pizza, the Middle East would own nearly half of it. This is why global markets watch this region very closely. Oil itself is not money. Money comes when oil is sold. Here's how it works. Oil is extracted from the ground, it is refined into fuel and products. It is sold to other countries, payments come in dollars, governments collect revenue. Money funds national budgets. When oil prices rise, income rises. When oil prices fall, income falls. That is why oil prices affect Middle East economies so strongly. Two things matter most. How much oil a country has. The price of oil in global markets, for example. If oil sells at $80 per barrel and a country exports millions of barrels per day, the money adds up very fast. That's why oil-rich countries earn hundreds of billions of dollars over time. Oil money is powerful because it comes in foreign currency, it flows every day, it can last for decades, it funds development, it attracts investment. Many Middle East countries used oil money to build cities, create jobs, provide free education, offer healthcare support, housing, invest overseas. Oil changed living standards dramatically. Oil started the wealth. But oil alone is not enough. Countries that planned wisely grew stronger. Countries that relied only on oil faced challenges. This is why diversification is now very important. The Middle East holds more than 45% of the world's proven oil reserves. That means almost half of all known oil on Earth is located in this region. Let's understand what that means in simple words. If the world had 100 barrels of oil underground, around 45 barrels would be in the Middle East. No other region comes even close. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, sit on oceans of oil underground. This oil is also cheap to extract, which is very important. Oil extraction costs are different in every country. In some countries, it costs $30 to $50 to extract 1 barrel of oil. But in many Middle Eastern countries, it costs less than $10 per barrel, sometimes even $3 to $5. This means higher profit, bigger margins, stronger control over prices. More power in global markets. When oil prices rise, profits explode. When oil prices fall, Middle Eastern producers can still survive. This is a huge advantage. Let's take a simple example. Imagine a country produces 10 million barrels of oil per day. If oil price is $70 per barrel, 10 million times 70 equals $700 million per day. That's over $20 billion per month. Over $250 billion per year. Now imagine this income flowing every year for decades. This is how oil becomes national wealth. In many Middle Eastern countries, oil is not just a business. It is the main source of government income. Oil money pays for salaries of government workers, public services, subsidies, military spending, social welfare programs. In some countries, oil provides 60% to 90% of government revenue. This level of dependence is extremely high. Smart oil-rich countries did not just spend oil money, they invested it. They created sovereign wealth funds, global investment portfolios, infrastructure projects, real estate, empires, technology investments. These investments generate income even when oil prices fall. Oil money became long-term wealth. And that's the story behind how oil helped make the Middle East rich. From deep underground oil reserves to massive national wealth, we saw how oil changed economies, cities, and global power. But remember, oil is not just money. It is also responsibility, planning, and the future. Some countries used oil to build long-term wealth. Some are now preparing for a world beyond oil. So the real question is not just how much oil exists, but how wisely it is used. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it, share it, and subscribe to How Much Things. Because here, we don't just talk about money. We explain how much of everything exists. Thanks for watching.